Hello everybody, this is another Hot Wheels Collector video. Today we are looking at the Ford Focus RS. This is from the 2022 mainline and is done in the best colour of this car I think I've seen so far. It is in a light blue and white colour scheme, which is honestly really nice. And that's the only two colours really featuring on this car, other than obviously the rear bumper and the interior colour being black. So anyways, we will go over the showcase of this car very soon, but first of all let me give you some facts about this car. So this is obviously the Mark III Focus RS. It is a very popular hot hatch, at least over here in the UK. And this model here started production in 2016. This car came with 345 brake horsepower and had a 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, which is pretty impressive, especially for such a small car. This car also had a top speed of 165 miles an hour, once again pretty impressive. The engine size in this is actually a 2.3 litre petrol, and it's an EcoBoost. So pretty much means it's quite a small literage, but it has a big turbo, which makes most of its horsepower actually. This same engine actually stars in the new Mustang, and both of them pump out roughly 350 brake horsepower, give or take. This is the fastest ever Focus sold, obviously both due to its lightness, because it's a hot hatch, but also because of its pretty impressive horsepower figures and torque figures. So that's really the facts for this car. It is a really cool car, and I know over here in the UK it's very popular. One of the most popular hot hatches, if not the most popular. I do believe the Fiesta ST is a bit more popular here over in the UK, but you do see these quite regularly. It's either this RS or the ST Focus, but either way they are both stunning pieces of machinery. Anyways, let's get into the actual showcase of this car. Alright, so kicking off this showcase then, we'll zoom on in. You can see this car has 5 spoke wheels done in white, very nicely done as you can see there. Keeping with that colour scheme, of course. Unfortunately, this car does not have any side mirrors. That is quite saddening. On this casting, you can see there's just that missing thing there. It's almost, and I heard this analogy from another YouTuber, it's almost like cutting the ears off a person. Doesn't look quite right. Anyways, this actual casting is very nice. The front windows are rolled up, so it doesn't look quite as sporty as quite a lot of other cars that Hot Wheels make, unfortunately. I think it would look better with them down, to be honest. The tampo work on this side is pretty basic. We have just a bit of striping and the RS logo done. All that's done in white tampo, keeping that colour scheme going. You can see obviously the door handles are done in the metal cast. And yeah, also that rear light is also done in the cast. And it comes around to the side of the car, accurate to the real life model. And I do like this rim choice on this car. I think they fit it very nicely, look very modern, and honestly, I don't really think there could have been a better rim choice. Maybe the 10 spokes, but these are really cool, and it's nice to see these wheels on another car. Alright, really that's the side, so let's take a look at the front. First of all, I'm here to tell you, can you see that? Hopefully you can. There are no windshield wipers, unfortunately, either. That kind of does suck. As for the tampo work on the front, there is actually none on the front bumper section. The front lights are there, so you could add your own details, but it is a shame that they're not there, as both the rear lights and front lights are not featured on this version of the car at least. That is a real shame, because those are big parts of the car to be missing. It's very rare that Hot Wheels don't do both of them on a car. Nowadays they usually do one or the other, unless it's a factory fresh car. This car casting though is really nice. You can see the whole front grille section is cut out very nicely, but once again it's not tampoed, and the real life grille would be black, so it doesn't look quite right. It looks more like a Focus ST. You can see they also use the black base plastic there to create the lower section of the front bumper. Very nice colour split there, and you can also see those, we're going to call them fins, or I don't know what they're supposed to be. I don't know what the technical term is for them, but obviously those bits on the bumper there. That's obviously Ford's design, very signature, and I'm pleased that it is done in the actual casting quite accurately actually. Now for the tampo work, we do have some striping on the hoods. We have 4 stripes, 2 smaller ones and 2 larger ones. We also have the Ford badge. Obviously that is vital on this car, especially with so much missing on it. You've just got to get every single detail with what you really do, and it is missing lots of things, I will be honest, and that's not great. The interior obviously is black, as you can see there. Moving on to the side, I think this is the best part of the car. I think the side looks phenomenal. I really, really do. I think it's really well done. It's just when you get to the front and the back, it really does lack those tampos and the detailing that would come with that. So, yep, this side's the same as the previous, so I'm not going to bore you with that, but obviously you can pause the video if you've got something that you are looking for. Here's the rear of the car. Alright, it doesn't look awful. So the rear lights have been carved out, so you can add your own details using Sharpies or acrylic paint or whatever you're going to use that you might prefer. The bottom section of the bumper and like obviously the diffuser and stuff is created using the black base plastic. Very nice colour split once again, as well as the exhaust also done down there. You can also see the Ford badge is actually in the casting, but it is not tampoed, but you could add your own details there, as well as the license plate holder also not having a tampoed license plate, but it is carved out. You can also see the RS badge, which is also in the metal casting, also does not have any tampo. Very unfortunate in my opinion. Alright, now let's talk about this spoiler. It's very accurate to the real life one, I'm going to give them that, and I'm happy to see it return. And I like to see it when they do the accurate spoilers and not just, a big blob on there. It really does capture that signature design that Ford have with this. Now taking a look at the top of the car, you can see there is that continuation of the stripes, and you can also see the Hot Wheels logo, which is done in white. Again, Hot Wheels really needed to put as much detail into what they could do here, and I'm pleased that they did do that Hot Wheels logo on there. Otherwise, it would just be really a lack of tampos, to be entirely honest, on this car. There is a massive lack, because I think this is a weird casting to do if you can't tampo it to its full needs. I think this would have looked better in factory fresh. Maybe it was when it debuted, and now it just isn't, but it isn't now, and it really needs to go back to that standard of just being with the front lights and the rear lights and all that detailing on the front and rear instead of all this cool stuff, which it does look nice, but they need to hold off and wait for premium to do this type of stuff, in my opinion. I'm giving you so much of my opinions already, Jesus. But there you go. It's not much to report on with this one. It's nice. The actual metal casting is perfect. It's just the tampo work is lacking, and it needs to go to premium. And I say that it really needs to go to premium. I would not be sad to see this in premium. I know British people would go crazy to see this in premium. It would fly off the pegs here. I don't know about in the US, but it needs it. It needs that premium treatment. Anyways, rant over. Let me give you your final thoughts and reviews on this car. Obviously, my final thoughts and reviews on this car. And I think you probably already know what kind of pathway this is going to go down. Alright, so as I've said previously, this car is really nicely casted, and I'm happy to see it in the mainline, but it is seriously lacking tampos. They did also do this in an orange and black colour scheme, which maybe looked a bit better, but I prefer this colour scheme, to be honest. If you're going to do a car with a lack of headlights and rear light tampos, you really have to do the entire car in black. It does hide those features, and you can just kind of pretend like they're just tinted. But when it's blue like this, it's just very obvious, in my opinion. It just looks wrong. They're there, but they're just not tampoed, and honestly, it doesn't look quite right. It doesn't look like the Focus we all know and love, and that's really unfortunate. So that leads me on to my score. I really did want to rate this high. I think the colour scheme is great. I think the cast itself is great, but the details are just not there. So, what am I going to give this one? I really want to give it higher because I do love a Focus RS in real life, and I love the colours and stuff, as I've already said, but I can't give it a high score like some other cars, which probably you guys will be screaming going, well, that car's got more detail. So I'm going to be fair here, and I'm going to give my absolute honest thoughts. I'm going to give this car out of 10 a 6 out of 10. It's by no means bad, but it's also not quite there, I don't think. Definitely needs to go to premium, or they need to go back to the factory fresh design on this car. Or maybe they haven't even done it. I don't know much about the history of this car because it's quite an older casting, I think. But yeah, that's really my thoughts on this one. I've rambled on loads here, but it is a really big shame that it doesn't quite have the detailing that it really does deserve and need. This car does need quite a high level of detailing. But I'm just saying the same things now over and over, but here you go. That's my thoughts. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to like. If you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe. And you can also press that notification bell so you do not miss any new uploads. Remember, you can also share this video with any friends, family, or in any groups who may be interested. But remember, don't feel pressured to if you don't feel like you have anybody who may be interested. You watching this video means so much to me, and I really do thank you so much for watching. Anyways, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye, everyone.